Hello, and welcome to another episode of Real Estate Junkies. My name is Nick Zigic, and we'll be talking about real estate. Not just any real estate. We know that the real estate market is very dynamic. People are buying, people are selling, there is lack of inventory, there's all kinds of REO inventory. But can a new couple entering the market actually get a house? Stick around and find out. So, welcome back. Now we're going to talk about this very important topic. And in the studio, I have a very special guest that knows it all. So with me today, John Thompson with First Priority Financial. John, you have a team there, right?
I do. I'm the head of the TG Loans team, and that's what we do, help people get mortgages for their homes.
So, there's a fad, or people are talking, how am I going to get a house in this market? There's all these people that are getting them, but yet there's no money, or is there money? And then again, can they qualify or can they not? Let's try to answer all those questions.
Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff happening, and you hear a lot of, I think, what is really misinformation in the marketplace these days. You hear that mortgages are really tough to get, that you have to have, perfect credit, lots of money down, and things like that. Quite frankly, it's not really true. Now, you do have to obviously fit into kind of a box, and you got to be able to have some basic criteria. Once you're beyond all that, really the financing is available to almost anybody. It's really a wonderful time to buy right now, and a great time to get mortgages.
So what do I need? I'm new into the market. I've rented all my life. I mean, I'm young. I just got a job.
Yeah.
So can I get a house?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is making sure you've sort of done a little bit of the homework ahead of time. That you make sure your credit's good. You got to make sure that you have your documentation of where your money's coming from. And there is flexibility, and there are programs that allow you to have all money from somebody else out there. Some pretty cool kind of things. But the basics are just kind of being organized, making sure your credit's ready to go, and your paperwork's kind of together. And then you got to talk to a professional about what do I qualify for. Because you do have to have a job, right? Your lenders are not giving away money like they used to.
Absolutely.
But once you've got those kind of things out of the way, you're good to go.
So one of the things that I always have a challenge with is I get a client, whether they're new or whether they already have a house, educating them on all the steps needed to get actually the offer.
Yeah.
And the offer, it means having all your paperwork together, right?
We helped a lovely young couple recently, Saul and Irene, and they want to get in the marketplace. They grew up in a culture where owning real estate was really important to them, and they were sort of a second generation into this country.
Right.
And their parents said, work hard, save your money, get a good job, and achieve the American dream by buying a home. And this is what they did, and they committed to it early on. They knew as soon as they got engaged, they came in and met with us, and they started to do their homework. Ran the credit, make sure that things were good there, cleaned up a couple of small things. We found out how much money they needed. They went and they started saving money. They talked to the friends and relatives and pulled together a little bit more that they needed. They really did all those kind of dynamic things.
A strategy.
They really sat down and they did it the right way. The key thing for them really was they wanted to be in the marketplace. They did not want to spend money on rent. They literally wanted to get married, move into their home, and get out of their parents' home. And in their case, they made it all happen. It was a wonderful story, and they're married and looking to add to the family now. So
pretty cool. Pretty cool. So you've mentioned that people have to have a strategy in place.
Yeah.
But you know what? It seems that it's not only just about going into a house, liking the house. Oh, I want to buy this house or that house. How much money I'm going to spend on it? But it's more of a financial strategy for a family, both short-term and long-term.
Yep.
So how does that pan out in the decision process?
Well, I believe this is such a critical aspect that is, I think, overlooked by a lot of people, is really trying to find a way to separate the emotional experience of buying a home and living in a home from the financial implications to your plans today and also your long-term sort of financial plans. And so ultimately, when we've gotten through the basic steps, gathering paperwork, talking about payments and down payment, those kind of things, it's okay, now how does this fit into your long-term plans? Why are you really, really buying a home? And there are a variety of reasons, but when you get right down to it, people think about a couple different things. They want a place to call their own, they want the tax benefits, and they want a long-term good financial investment, right? And so once they start to understand how their cash flow fits in that long-term financial investment, then they become really enamored by the idea, and they start to understand this real estate can serve as a long-term wealth creator for them, especially now with the market so much down from where it was before. This is the opportunity for people to rebuild and build wealth for the first time ever, which is really what real estate's done for so many people.
But at the same time, it's interesting that you mentioned that aspect, because most of the people calling me to go shopping for a house think of, well, it's time to buy a house. So the separation of the emotional purchase of the home of their dreams versus the planning part I don't think crosses a lot of people's mind. When does that actually happen?
In our case, at least, we make it very intentional. You know, it's important for people to understand the aspect of it, and they do, and I think they do. I think the people you're talking to do understand that. It may be that they can't maybe say it out loud, or they don't know how to eloquently say it. But the bottom line is they don't want to make mistakes, right? They're spending, it's going to be their biggest assets, their biggest liability. They don't want to make a mistake. They know it's a good time to buy,
right,
but why is it a good time to buy, and why is it a good time to buy for them? And that's just a deeper series of questions that we really have to go into to understand that aspect of what they're doing.
Do you satisfy that every time?
You know, we certainly believe we do.
All right. I believe that too. So as long as the people get it all right as far as the financials and get into the house that is a house of their dreams, we've done our job. Now I got a question for you. If you have $1 million to invest today, where will you put it to double it?
Well, I'd go to Vegas and put it on red, right? I probably wouldn't do that. That goes against my core being. But I think there's some wonderful opportunities. I will say the two things that I would probably be putting money into these days, one would be real estate. I think there's great opportunities, both in short-term kind of flip deals, but also long-term appreciation. And then quite frankly, I think there's a lot of opportunity in gas futures these days. I mean, our country over the next 30 years is going to move away from oil dependency, and I think we're going to go towards natural gas and other kind of things there, and there's some wonderful stories there if you do that kind of research. Those are my two suggestions.
People are wondering what they can do, and versus the real estate, that is a great place to invest and keep your money that you've made somewhere. A lot of people are asking, how do they double the money? And I like to bring that to the show. Now, I'm sure that you want to know where you can find information on this show and all of the others. You will be able to find it on KGEM's website, as well as if you go to myrealestatehq.com and click the little button, the Real Estate Junkies, and you will see all the information that was in the show. You'll be able to see what John and I and all the other guests have come together about, and write to us or send a message or something like that. Until the next episode, see ya. Thank you, John.
Great, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.